Hey guys, it's Skybird here, and today I want to talk to you guys about an idea that I had. This is not the first time I've thought of this idea, nor am I the first person to do so. But if you guys remember way back in the early 2000s, you had the ability to stop at any McDonald's basically and pick yourself up a little Matoran, right? These guys were fantastic little collectibles because not only were they made with the same compatible pieces as the hot new toy of that year, right? But they also came with exclusive at the time collectibles like this mask and these discs on the back. They also had the ability to be played with solitarily, right? As a single kid, you could take the disc and try and throw it with this arm into your Happy Meal box, or if you had siblings to battle with, you could try punching at them or throwing the discs at them to knock their mask off before they knocked yours off. Fantastic design. You even got a little like comic book with it and a poster and stuff. Like, I don't know how Lego was able to pack so much stuff into a free toy. But that said, I wanted to kind of take that same concept and move it to 2002, right, with the Bohrok. So the Bohrok were essentially our bad guy stand-ins for the Toa, the Bohrok Bob being our Taraga for that year, right? But we never got anything that was an equivalent to the McDonald's Matoran. So I went about designing my own. And this is what I came up with. These little guys here. Now, I have not named them anything, so you can call them Bohrok, whatever you want, right? McBohrok if you want to. But the idea is that these little guys are basically built around this disc launcher here. And this is the design I came up with based on this little Nestle promo, which is an old disc launcher from back in 2006, came with some Paraka little Nestle toys that shot their own little proprietary disc. The reason I chose this one specifically is because it actually can fit Bohrok shields. It's not intended to, but it does work, and all of the original 6 Bohrok shields will work with this launcher. Now, these shields are not necessarily designed to fly. They're not frisbee shaped per se, so they're not going to fly quite as well, but they do have a bit more heft to them, and I thought about taking advantage of this by essentially creating this proprietary design where you had the ability to basically take one of these faceplate pieces, also recolored in this case, attach it to the back as sort of like a tail, right? And then you can pivot it back, and what it essentially acts like is like a little catcher's mitt. So if you and a sibling both have one of these characters, you're basically trying to launch the disc at their faceplate piece and knock it off. This design, this proprietary clip that I'm working on, is designed to be basically a loose but friction fit for the Bohrok windscreen. And so if we take a look at it from underneath, and boy, I need to reset the origin on this studio page, but I digress. It has this little protrusion of plastic at the back end here that allows the faceplate to basically pivot back, hit it, and then dislodge, be pulled up and away from the base. So essentially it would fall off, and thus you have knocked their opponent's mask off. So you might ask yourself, well, why don't these have Krana, right? If the original sets had masks, well, Krana were basically the Bohrok equivalent. The problem with Krana is that for something like a McDonald's toy is they're just too small. They present a choking hazard. This is the same reason why there aren't actual eye pieces on this, but rather the eyes are molded into the design, which I think I did a rather smart job trying to mold it in such a way where the eyes had the most color to them, if that makes sense, the most color pop, if you will. Right, and so that's the main reason why I chose the faceplates and the Bohrok shields as the collectibles for these rather than the mask and the old disc. Right now, that's not to say Lego wouldn't use the old discs, but I really like the idea of having Bohrok shields, and that way you can basically customize your own Bohrok. Maybe in the story these could give specific elemental powers to your Bohrok or something else, right? Point being is that this is a very functional little toy. Now, I did build this with the Matoran foot in place here. I think realistically it'd probably have its own foot mold, but I'm not against reusing the Matoran foot mold either. Obviously that would save money for a company like Lego to reuse that mold, and in this case we would get 5 new recolors, all of them secondary colors. Dark gray would be the only recolor, or the only non-recolor in this case, but we'll get to that here in a moment. Like the McDonald's Matoran, these have the ability to store the extra shield on that little axle in the back here. So if I just take this, I can actually throw it right in that little axle hole there, and it's going to work out just fine, meaning that there aren't any loose pieces. Let's take a look at the others. Now this is going to get a little busy, but essentially in this file here, I am showing off for, well, Discord, the idea of all 6 of the builds, as well as a sort of combination model over here in one corner, kind of showing off the play feature as well, you know, shooting a disc, trying to hit the opponent's faceplate and knock it off, and then the parts count. There are 8 pieces included here, which matches the original McDonald's Matoran, so I think that that is a wise decision there as well. And again, in most cases, in fact, in all cases, except for this launcher piece, none of these pieces are new molds either, meaning that it would be cheaper for LEGO to produce these than the McDonald's Matoran. So I think it's a pretty good idea. I think it's an idea that actually has some teeth to it, right? If this had been done in the past, I really think that's, you know, LEGO would have actually pursued this. Now, obviously, again, this is not what we ended up getting. Instead, for Bohrok, we got some Bohrok trading cards, and that's understandable too. Again, that was around the time that like trading card games were really big in the early 2000s, Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, and so I completely understand that move. It's obviously a lot cheaper to do that, to include that kind of stuff with your Happy Meals. But still, I think this is an interesting concept, and I think it fills the gap that was left by not having a third tier, if you will, of Bohrok until we got the Bohrok out later. So that's pretty much it for this one. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because it does help the channel out a lot. And of course, let me know what you guys think about this concept or any other idea you've had. Maybe a McDonald's Rockshi or something. Would that just be the Rahaga? Anyway, I'll see you all in the next one. As always, my links for my Discord will be in the description below. Take care.